Jesus. Do we have anything to fear of the devil in this spiritual war? No. You know what I find fascinating in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 50. Jesus invites you on his side. He says, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." Have you ever thought of that? Jesus is my brother. I grew up the youngest of two older brothers. When anyone picked on me, they picked on my whole family. Even though time after time I would argue with my two brothers, and at times they would tie me up and throw me somewhere, and I tried to be Houdini and try and get out, and usually I succeeded. Even though there was a lot of fighting, you know what it's like as brothers, but when someone picked on a Kunz, they banded together. Anyone picks on a Christian, they're picking on Christ. And Christ will protect you. He will allow you to go through certain things in life, but He will give you the strength to go through that time. Because His ultimate end is not to give you peace on earth as heaven, but to get you to heaven so that you can have peace forever in eternity with your friend and Saviour, Jesus Christ. I'm not sure how many of the ladies here who are mothers think of themselves as Christ as their son. Look what it says. Whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, my sister, my mother. Now I know in some cultures, I think in South America, you don't speak a bad word about your mother. You talk bad things about my mother, you're dead meat. Jesus is trying to show us that He wants the closest possible relationship with you because He loves you and He will defend you. In a spiritual war, you have a choice to whinge and complain about all the rotten things that are happening, or you can do something about it. You know, I have a philosophy in my life that I'm not sure how good I am. You'll have to ask my wife about it. But I try not to whinge. Because when I feel a whinge coming along, I say, Michael, you've got two choices. You do something about it, or you shut up and you accept it. Don't whinge. Because if you can do something about it, do something about it. Don't complain. Don't put your problems on someone else. Go and do something about it. And if you can't do something about it, well then, why waste the energy complaining? Just accept it, ask God to help you, and keep on going. In a spiritual war, we need spiritual soldiers. I don't know if you noticed it when I was reading there before in Revelation chapter 19, but it was talking about Jesus being the commander on the horse, looking fierce. But in verse 14, Revelation 19, verse 14, it said, "And the armies of heaven," now this is after the second coming, this is the third coming, "the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean." Who are they? The Bible always clearly demonstrates it's the saints, Christ's people, who are those who are arrayed in white linen, the righteousness of Christ. How are they pictured? As an army. For those of you who have accepted Christ as your Saviour, you're in the army. You could be a Christian and not a Seventh-day Adventist. That's fine. You're still in the army. By making that stand, you have declared war on Satan, saying, I will no longer be part of your kingdom. I will no longer be influenced by your destructive habits. I am now with Jesus, who has run round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4, and then you're gone, Satan. You know, as a soldier, just quickly, I just looked at 3 things that we need to, I guess, practice. You know, the hardest one is to be patient. A soldier of Christ needs to be patient. Because basically the battle lasts your entire life, doesn't it? In James chapter 1 verse 12, James gives these encouraging words and re-emphasizes the need to be patient. James chapter 1. Now I've lost it. I'll read it up here. Blessed is the man who endures temptation. There's that word, endures. For when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love him. In Luke chapter 21, here again it makes it quite clear. You know, I don't want to paint a pretty picture of this war, because I'm not sure whether you're aware, but things are getting hot out there spiritually. The world is falling apart financially. Jesus, if anyone cares to look, the signs are showing he's coming back very soon. And that means the devil, who knows his time is short, is going to intensify his attack on those who believe in Jesus. And that's us. And Jesus gives us warning and encouragement in Luke chapter 21, verse 16. He says, "You will be betrayed even by parents and brothers and relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death. You'll be hated by all for my name's sake." What's the promise? "But not a hair on your head shall be lost." Verse 19, interesting statement. "By your patience possess your souls." Can you throw up the NIV version of that one? By standing firm, you will gain life. Patience, standing firm. That's the hardest thing as a Christian. Because how long have we been preaching that Jesus is coming again? How many years? He's still not here yet. And the temptation is to give up and say, well, look, he's probably not coming for a very long time. But no, watch and pray. You know, a soldier obeys his commander. Oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Oh, no. I have to do what God tells me to do? Oh. I thought we were free as Christians. Oh, we get it so wrong so often. When a parent tells his children what to do, does he have or she have his children's best interests in mind? Don't touch the hot stove, honey. It'll burn you. Hate rules and regulations. I guess Mum was right. When we obey Jesus, we help gain whatever objective God has for us, and it's also for our own protection. You know, in a war, no one really knows what side you're on until something is asked of you. Now imagine if New Zealand declared war on Australia. That'd be a bit crazy. You know, people come to you and say, whose side are you on? I'm for the Aussies. Another person asks, well, time to suit up and go to battle. Or don't want to do that. Might die. Well, whose side are you on? It's only by your actions do you show who you are with. When people look at your actions, who do they think you're with? God? Or the other side?